Everybody, this is Dissonant Waves. This is a Minisode or episode 20 or whatever we're doing. This is an episode. Reelin isn't here this week, so we thought it'd be fitting to do another K-pop episode. So this week we're talking about the new BTS album Map of the Soul 7. Since we do K-pop before, my sidekick for K-pop is Trix. How are you doing, Trix?
Yeah, K-pop, I guess.
And because I mentioned him in the episode last time, my old roommate is the person who taught me everything about K-pop that I know, which is very little, and that's Zach. How are you doing, Zach?
That is me. I am doing all right.
Okay. So you taught me everything I know about K-pop, which is still not a lot, but you know a lot. You're a huge fan. Tell me some stuff.
I mean, I am a fan. I'm definitely not a huge fan as like some of the BTS fans, because they know like so much. Like it is insane how some K-pop fans just know about their idols.
So what I'm hearing correctly is that you're a fan and not a stan.
Yeah, I don't like the term stan. I've always hated it. It's been around since like the beginning of K-pop, or at least since I've been a K-pop fan. I've always hated that term.
It's a term that originates from Eminem. From the song Stan.
Mm-hmm.
So
don't like that song either.
Oh, yeah, I like that song. I think we're gonna run into that a couple times here, where I like the songs that you don't, because last time on K-pop that we covered, Dissonant Waves covered, we did Map of the Soul Persona, and Map of the Soul 7
basically starts out with a abrupt version of Persona. The first 5 songs are 5 songs from Persona,
and then it launches into its own thing. It's a very ambitious 20-track album. Can you give us some like insight into like what this means for BTS?
What this means for BTS? Well, it means that their last album did really well, and so they want to do really well. So they put on 5 of their best songs onto this album as well.
It was like we were talking last week and called it like a comeback album, right?
Yeah. Okay. So first off, I would like to point that out. Me and Dominic had a discussion about this. In the K-pop community, every single time someone releases a new album or a single or whatever, a mini album, it is always considered a comeback, and that is always what they refer to it. And me and Dominic just yelled about that for like an hour last weekend.
What
does comeback to you, Trix?
Like we're coming back after like breaking up, or we failed for a while, but now this is a big like comeback album. We're putting our all into it.
Right. That's what I thought too. Right. That makes sense.
No. Every single one is a comeback. It doesn't matter if it's a month. It doesn't matter if it's 10 years. Every single one is a comeback. They're always on the comeback stage.
That makes for like cheap publicity. Like, hey, it's the big comeback. Come back, kids. Come for the next album. Yeah. So let's see. I was reading into BTS a bit. They've been around since 2010, but they started releasing music in 2013. So this is like the 7th year, right? And they're like 7 of members, or 7 members, 7 years. Got it. And albums too. Might be.
So this is basically that one-point click adventure game on the DS that escapes me right now.
Obviously, this is a very big deal. You were going to talk about the history a bit, right?
The history of BTS, or do you want me to talk about the history of K-pop?
You could do either one, whatever you want to do.
So I'll talk about the BTS for a little bit. So BTS, if you look at their debut song, which is called No More Dream, it is so different from what you see from BTS right now. There's so many more like rap breakdowns. One of the members changed from a rapper to a total vocal, which is so off-putting when you look at him. They really changed their style. I don't remember what year it is. Probably like 2015. And I think it was the Most Beautiful Moments in Life album, I think. Around the Run era, where they kind of went away from rap. They still had really good rap breakdowns.
They're like a hip hop group first, right? Kind of.
Yeah, they're hip hop. If you, I think like the oldest video of them actually performing a song is a cover, or I guess not really a cover, but like they took. I don't know which one. I don't know the actual English song. I don't listen to English music. But it's that one song that goes like sit down, drink, stand up, drink. You know that song, right?
Yeah, that's the thing to notice is that Zach doesn't listen to things that aren't K-pop. So
No.
this is the one time where Zach is really useful. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
the
the only
one
time it'll
time.
ever be
The
useful.
one time.
Cedric?
I said the only time will ever be useful.
But yeah.
So a whole K-pop series, we'll see.
So they started that, and then around the Most Beautiful Moments of life in life, they really embraced the vocals of the group, and they kind of got this like brass and strings feel over like the, I don't want to say rock, but more harder vibes. They still do the harder songs, but their main songs are all like vocalized and much more upbeat than what they used to be.
Reading into them a bit, and it seemed like they had a couple of reality shows, including one set in America. Like, do you know anything about those?
Oh, I don't watch anything else. There are people who love like watching every single media of BTS. I listen to the music and I go on my day.
So yeah, I was reading there was like a whole reality show where like Coolio was there, and they were teaching BTS about like what hip hop is actually about, and like they brought in like real rappers to teach them about rap. And then I think it was after that they're kind of like shedding their old image of being like gangsta, and they were like, "Oh, we actually understand what that means now. Sorry."
I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm pretty sure Coolio said he was a big fan. I know a lot of American artists say they're actually a really big fan of BTS, and whether that's just them saying that for publicity or them actually enjoying it. That's for you guys to decide. Yeah. I know Billie Eilish says that she really wants to collab, and I'm pretty sure Cardi B said something as well.
I was hearing that John Cena was a huge fan of BTS, but I really couldn't see that.
That is kind of weird. Well, you know what else you can't see? John Cena.
That was a joke.
Yeah. I think it's the first time around.
No, so BTS has a lot of collaborations with other artists, so I think that that kind of leads credence to their kind of takeover of the music world, and this album is no exception. Like, man, I was trying to write down all the writers this album has, and it took up like a page. Because we had Ed Sheeran on "Make It Right," Lauv was on an alternate cut of "Make It Right," Troye Sivan, Ali X, they're on a Louder Than Bombs.
Yeah, I'm looking at all of the writers for the track list right now. It's insane. Do you want me to just send you the Wikipedia page so you can look at this too?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wrote it down. I tried to write every writer down, and it took up a page. Like, it's incredible how many people are involved with this album. Like, I mentioned, like, what I know of the K-pop machine, and this seems like the machine is in full force, just getting in everybody they can, like well-known songwriters, well-known pop artists, anybody.
And this is actually like it's really good for me to see this because a lot of pop music isn't actually written by the artists. And K-pop, they are designed to perform for 6 months, take a 2-week break, and then perform for another 6 months. And they'll just outsource all of their writing and song producing to whoever they can and whoever wants to. So it's actually really good, and I'm really glad that BTS at least is involved in most of their songs. I don't really know how much like Monster X or Blackpink write their songs, or at least are involved in their songs at all. But it used to be like no one was involved in their song. It was like a shock when a member of the group used to write any part of the song at all.
Right, like I'm looking at the Wikipedia, and there's like RM's on a lot of them, J-Hope's on some of them.
Yeah, RM is, I'm pretty sure he's the one that writes most of their songs. RM and Suga, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, I was reading something that was saying about how that was like a big deal for them, how they were involved in all their songs, and how they were like even getting like political with like Korean politics and stuff with a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
And like from the outside, they seem like a super like an act that tries to use their platform for good. Like you sent me videos of them speaking at the United Nations, and like they're kind of the ambassadors for like Korea in general.
Goddamn.
Yeah, BTS has hit some really interesting marks. Them speaking at the United Nations, I didn't know until I saw that video I sent you, and it was a shock.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's just weird seeing RM look at all these like super important political figures. Guys, just speak from your heart. Look what's inside you.
I was reading. At least one of them is fluent in English. Was it RM? Because I know most of them have gotten there by now.
RM is fluent in English. RM is completely fluent in English. Everyone else has some moderation, but I don't know if anyone else is fluent to the. Well, I think a lot of them are really, really good at English, but I think RM is the main. He's the main speaker, regardless of if he's speaking in Korean or English.
He's like the leader, right?
He is the leader. He's the one that basically came together and chose everyone for the group. And so he has taken the responsibility to be the leader. So it may come across that he is the only fluent one. I'm pretty sure V is also pretty good in English.
Mm-hmm. I'm just checking these names still. Have you heard of Supreme Boy?
Yeah, I have heard of Supreme Boy. He is on my ringtone.
Okay, is it the same one you've always had, or is that?
Yeah, that's the one on J-Hope's song Hansan. The one that I played for you all the time. Part you hated.
Smash in the streets. Yes.
Smash on the street. Hey.
Oh god, that's just burned into my mind forever.
Yo, that song is good.
Let's see. Tricks. Did you look into the staff of the writing at all much?
I did not.
Oh, it was interesting because Zach and I decided on doing BTS. It wasn't my first choice. We were kind of just coming to that eventually. So it was like an interesting surprise to find that the song "Louder Than Bombs" was written by Troye Sivan and Ali X. And on our own time, we're covering the Ali X album that had just come out. And they had collaborated on a song on that album, Troye Sivan and Ali. Isn't that kind of interesting? I don't know. What do you think, Trix?
Yeah, it is pretty interesting, I think.
All of our coverage of music has like a weird synchronicity where we did like Violent Soho when there are two albums, how the one is like an extension of the other, and now we're doing the BTS that's an extension of Persona. and all the crossovers between songwriters and artists. It's it's extremely on brand, to use the phrase the kids say.
And then especially when I pull something completely weird and random out of it, that does not line up with it at all.
We're gonna get Lorenzo Cook in here eventually. He's gonna tie it all together. He's like the rug in the Big Lebowski. So it ties their whole room together.
Yep.
Okay. Since we struggled with this last time, Zach, you know how to pronounce all the names?
Their names? Yeah. So one is V, as in V.
Like the letter, yes.
One is RM, pronounced RM.
At one point, it was Rat Monster, correct?
Yeah, he used to go by Rat Monster, and then I'm pretty sure he thought that was stupid, and so he just went with RM. I remember when I first saw that, the first music video introduced them all, and they say Rat Monster, and it's like, oh, that is a terrible stage name. K-pop has had some really, really bad stage names in the past, but I think RM really gets me. My favorite one is TOP, which stands for The Official Pimp.
Is that a person or is that a group?
I'm not lying about that either. His name is The Official Pimp.
Oh my god, that's fucking great.
So after that, so everyone kind of just calls them by their like actual names and not their stage names. So people will say Namjoon instead of RM, but I prefer saying RM because if people don't know their actual names, their legal names, no one's gonna know who the hell I'm talking about unless you're like an actual BTS fan. So if I say, I don't remember anyone else's name, Taehyun, I think one of V's name is, but you're not know that. So there's Jungkook, Jimin, Suga, or Suga. I don't know which one you're supposed to say. I think it's Suga.
It was right with shootout because it was like
RMB.
shooting guard.
Oh, was it? Huh, I didn't know that. My personal favorite is J-Hope. He is the rapper and dancer of the group. He is phenomenal at dancing. Like, take a look at any of the dance practices and you will see just how incredible he is. And then there's Jin.
This is something you taught me basically, is that it's not just about the music. Big part of BTS and K-pop in general is like the video content, like the music videos, the performances, like even the audition or the not auditions, but rehearsals, and like all the dances are just as huge.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone really acknowledges this as much, but I still think that the dances in K-pop are like 80% of what makes them like popular. It used to be to the point where I could do any simple K-pop dance, anyone would just immediately know which group I'm talking about. You would shake one hand and everyone would be like, "Oh yeah, it's Mr. Simple." People just be able to acknowledge that right away. And I still think it's the same with BTS. Their performances are incredible and complex. I don't know if you've seen the dance version for On, but you have like, I don't know, 35 or so background dancers that are just drumming in perfect synchronization. And then they even have things like what song was that? It's Not Today, where they need just such precise coordination between all of them. And even as a dancer, I don't know how the hell they do it.
Well, was it the video for Dionysus that they had that one move where they like fell to the floor or something that you were talking about?
Yeah, everyone loves that part. Dionysus is one of my favorite songs for them. And I think it's such an underrated song. I don't see nearly as many people talking about it. and I personally just love it mostly because of the dance. I will hate that song. I did this with DNA. I hated the song for DNA, but then I watched the dance video, and the dance for that is just insane. It's definitely like one of their hardest dances. It might be their hardest dances, arguably. And I was just okay. I love this song now. Like the coordination of this song is incredible, and I just have to give it respect, even though the song itself I didn't really enjoy.
So before we get into like the album itself, we're kind of getting a lot of setup and talking about BTS because I think that was sorely lacking from our last attempt at this. And it's good to have context. You guys listened to a few songs outside of Seven. Can you talk about those?
Yes. Which ones did you listen to? I forget.
Let me flip my pages real loudly here. Hold on.
Because I probably gave you the album "The Most Beautiful Moment in Life" because I just like so many songs from that. I probably showed you "Fire." My personal favorite is not today. What's it called? "My City." I love that song so much, especially the live version of that. It's so good.
You did "My City," "Silver Spoon," "Dope," and "Burning Up Fire."
Yeah, all those are really good songs. That was basically the era that I was talking about, where they really switched. Well, I guess it was one album before that, where they really switched from their harder songs to. I guess that era was just more fun, especially with Fire and Dope. And then after that, they kind of went into the DNA and Boy with Love and On that you currently see right now.
I was into "My City" because it's like a kind of a jazzy, funky kind of beat.
Yeah,
it kind of grabs you right away. They were like a lot of good like rap beats, even Silver Spoon's like very hip hop. So that was interesting to hear, kind of like that evolution into like what it is now.
Do you know the alternate name for Silver Spoon? Have you looked up the English lyrics for that at all?
No, I have not.
No.
It is also called Crow Tit.
All right, sure, sounds great.
I don't know why. I think it's supposed to be it's either a pun or some like phrase in Korean that is supposed to mean like try hard. I don't know the actual thing. I just find that absolutely hilarious. And I know PewDiePie talked about that too when he was talking about BTS in one of his videos. He just thought that was hilarious.
Did they just mangle the word creatine?
Make with the word what?
Creatine.
I did not know.
There's a joke there, but if you don't understand, it's just going
I don't.
now.
I don't.
Creatine is the thing that bodybuilders try to get when they do the bodybuilding, and that's like a try hard thing. So
yeah,
it was a multi-layered joke. Didn't pan out like usual. That's okay. Trix, do you have any thoughts about like the Ma City stuff, Silver Spoon, or anything?
I didn't actually get to listen to that. I completely forgot.
The album.
I just listened to Seven.
I can barely hear you, dude. Or sorry, not dude.
I
can barely hear you.
I just listened to Seven, and I barely remember any of that. If I'm going to be honest.
Okay. Well, we will work with what we got.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I'm not expecting you to listen to every single BTS album.
Oh, I dug those songs a lot, and so we got Seven itself. Oh, as I said before, the first 5 songs are 5 to 7 songs from Persona, and from what I understand of BTS's discography, they basically do like topics. And they have like just like a couple years they spend on a certain topic. They release a bunch of EPs, LPs, whatever regarding that. Like usually like 2 or 3 or whatever, and then they move on. And so Persona is like the beginning of the Map of the Soul series, and then I think there's supposed to be some more going on, and then stuff happened, and then 7 is kind of just everything else they basically did. I'm basically right from what you know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm pretty one dimensional uh with BTS at least. I acknowledge that BTS members are very talented in every way, but I just don't really have the time or the energy to like look into their albums or their live streams or anything like that.
Okay, so beyond them, like what artists do you generally draw to instead?
What artists do I generally draw to?
If you're one dimensional about BTS, what other artists might you be more, not one dimensional about?
Well, my favorite group is Super Junior. It is a group that debuted in 2005, and they're still going on. They were a rotational group, which means that they started off with 12 members, and then they were supposed to kind of rotate in and out between the members. So they had various subunits where certain like 5 members would be in this subunit, and they would go and take a break, and then these 3 members would be active, and then these 6 members would be active, and that was basically their entire shtick. But then they just decided to all perform as one, which made them huge. They had 15 total members. The most they performed with at one time was 13, I believe. But that is my favorite group, and I've actually I've tried watching some live streams of theirs. Unfortunately, I don't have the patience or mental capacity to really sit there and watch all the subtitles. That's why I watch dubbed anime. Forgive me.
At least you can admit it.
I will definitely admit that dubbed anime is better.
I don't watch anime. I don't watch anime, so I can't weigh in.
No, but you at least get what I'm trying to say. Like I just it's difficult for me to like sit there and watch a show with subtitles because I like doing other things in my spare time. But Super Junior is the one show or the one group that I have made that exception for, just because I genuinely enjoy all of the content. I enjoy all their members, and I support all of them. And even though that like I don't know what 5 of them are gone from the group now, I still really respect all of them, and I try and keep up with as many of them as I can.
Right. And the reason I ask you is that I like over in the West here, like it's very easy to look at like BTS or Monster X, whoever they're kind of bringing to the West, and just see K-pop as just that. Just see it as Blackpink. Just see it as just those 3 groups basically. But for people who really like K-pop and get into it like you do, there are more groups. There are possibly better groups that are also worth paying attention to. And so
yeah,
it's
I absolutely agree with that.
So it's easy to stick with like the most basic in a sense, but I want to just give a shout out to like the other groups that are super talented that we might not have heard of.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off before I thought you were done.
Okay,
but I've even said, forgive me. I think there are groups that are better in certain ways than BTS. I think BTS just has the best combination of factors that have led them to their current fame. And I think a lot of that has to do with, for example, none of the members have gone to the military, which will always impact the Korean pop groups super hard. If you don't know, every male in Korea has to go into the military. They have to take mandatory military service, and usually when groups have to do that, or any member has to do that, they will plummet in popularity. And that has happened. There's a group called Big Bang that was the BTS of the time, arguably, and they were gigantic. And then they all went to the army at the exact same time. Basically, they took like a 4-year hiatus, and now barely nobody's talking about them. They just rescheduled their contracts, and I still have seen like 0 people talking about them. Their previous videos still get a lot of traction, but like on Instagram, one of the members used to be one of the highest, or he was the number one Korean person on Instagram. And now he's plummeted in popularity. He's still very, very popular, but that is a factor that BTS has kind of taken advantage of, even though I believe Jin is going into the army this year, which I am very interested to see how that is going to impact the fan base and their sales. I hope he stays safe out there. I do not know the other members' army dates. But that is one of the main reasons that I think BTS has capitalized on their popularity so much.
They've been a consistent group the entire time.
Oh yeah, consistent group. Plus they've just never taken a break. Basically, it feels like they take so little breaks, and that's kind of what K-pop is. Like I said, it's a machine that is designed to just pump out as many albums as you physically can, and BTS is so good at that. There was one group back in 2012, they're in BAP, and they had 4, 5 mini albums in a year. Like that was crazy.
Okay, so Map of the Soul then. We talked about Persona a bit before on the show, and Persona is still like the highest selling album in South Korea. It is huge. It was number one over here. It was number one in a lot of countries. Seven has kind of gone along the same path. It's been number one in the Billboard charts, Rolling Stone charts, world charts. It's number one in a lot of places. It's sold a lot of copies. It's huge. And it's incorporated Persona and expanded upon Persona, and is a really ambitious album from what I can tell. I don't know if it necessarily captures everything that made Persona great. I think the songs that they cut were still really good, and I might have preferred them over some of the songs that they kept in, but that's just me. Okay. Since you're Zach, you're the K-pop person, what songs do you generally draw to from this album?
My favorite song by far is Louder Than Bombs. I think that song is so good. It kind of does exactly what I was saying that BTS has been doing a lot recently, is just focusing on their vocals just so much more. And even though they started out as a hip-hop group and my favorite members are the rappers, I think Louder Than Bombs really just shows all of their capabilities. Obviously On and Black Swan are also very good, and I completely understand why they chose them to be the title tracks and the ones with music videos and dance performances. But I think Louder Than Bombs is so incredible. I cannot stop listening to it.
We're good. That's one of my things. I like Choice of On as it is, so I was kind of hooked from that. But yeah, there's so much. Someone who coming from outside of it, obviously I know the Persona songs better, so I'm more drawn to Dionysus. I'm drawn to Boy With Love. I know that's a song you don't like as much, but I think
Boy With Love. I think that song is terrible.
It's so catchy, though. The My chorus is so catchy.
I did not like it.
I think for me, the interesting thing is I mentioned to you a little bit, songs like Shadow or Ugh, where they kind of have more hip hop based again, and they have I don't know what you call it, breakdowns at the end that are very aggressive and different. Some of these songs are so kind of safe and cutesy popsy, but those two songs in particular kind of stand out as showing a different side of them.
Yeah, but I keep on saying, they've been focusing a lot on their vocals more, and I don't want to ignore the rappers. Those three rappers, Suga, J-Hope, and RM. I think RM's one of the best rappers in K-pop right now. I know a lot of people say him, but I personally think that RM is the superior rapper. I think J-Hope is also a rapper, and I think Suga is also a great rapper. Listening to any of their...
Would you say that people say is better than them? You cut out for a second.
The fans genuinely agree that Suga is superior in terms of rapping skills to RM. I disagree, especially if you look at his mixtape from like 2014. Look up "Awakening" by him. It is insane, that song. And I think that they really want to focus on that with UGG and Shadow and what was the other one? I don't know, the outro. That I think I think they really just like to show off that they're incredible vocals, but they still have some of the best rappers in the entire industry right now.
Okay. Trix, what song stood out to you at all?
Well, excuse me. I will say, like, the intro to which one was it? It was like the second song just really caught me off guard because I don't remember it from that much from the first listen on Map of the Soul.
Persona, yeah.
And that really caught me off guard how I enjoyed it. And let me pull up the album again because I'm forgetting song titles. I'm bad at this.
The mic in your mouth a little bit more, please. I'm
trying to hear you. Yeah, Boy with Love, I really enjoyed, like, the intro too. The Louder Than Bombs was really good. And I kind of just enjoyed, like, the album as a whole, but I can't single out any, like, one section of it other than the Boy with Love.
Okay. Now, okay. I see where you're coming from. Zach, I'm going to assume that K-pop albums normally are not 20 tracks long, correct?
I mean, I guess the average is probably around like 12, 10 to 15 is usually how they go. Obviously, there's singles and mini albums as well, but usually 12 to 10.
So, this is something I kind of thought about as I was listening to this. Are there just too many songs on here?
Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of just wanted everyone to have a solo song because, profit. And then obviously I don't really see a reason for them to include the 5 songs from Persona. So I don't know. I think there probably is too many, but I don't mind it really. As long as they have enough breaks in between their album releases, I am okay with them releasing a track.
Yes, I don't know. Maybe it's just the way that we listen to or I try to listen to albums for the show, just like trying to grasp what I can. Having an album that is so long and so front loaded with songs that I'm familiar with, it's hard to like pay attention to songs like Inner Child or Friends or Respect after a while because there's just so much going on and the highlights are all just kind of all over the place.
You also have to consider that like the albums we do are like 30-minute, 10-song indie jams.
Sometimes, yeah. So this is like huge compared to what we normally do.
Yeah.
This is like 2 albums plus. Yeah, like I'm looking at the track list right now, trying to remember everything. The filter was interesting because it has kind of that like Spanish guitar kind of sound. Like, is it like I know they're trying to do like a Despacito kind of influence or something like that. Like, I'm not gonna put it past like the K-pop industry to kind of like be like, oh, that song's really popular. Let's try doing something a little bit like that. But maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, it's not bad to capitalize on what's popular. When Despacito was really popular, the group that I mentioned before, Super Junior, they're really big in Latin America. So they invited like 2 Latin American artists onto their albums, and they had like 2 years where they had a Spanish song vibe-esque for their albums.
Isn't Despacito still like the most played video on YouTube?
I don't know, probably.
Is BTS the most subscribed group now? Is that a huge thing?
Probably. SM might have more just because SM Entertainment being a record label that holds a lot of other big names, Girls' Generation, Super Junior, EXO, which you've probably heard of as well, NCT, some of those groups are still very popular right now. Red Velvet, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that one. So they might have more sub. I don't know the actual sub count, just because they have so many groups to follow up on, while Big Hit only has 2, technically.
Big Hit being in the company that like promotes BTS as their label.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, for you then, looking at this album, maybe you want to cut out the Persona songs. I don't know what are like the low points here for you.
The low points?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I wasn't a fan of the last album. I didn't really like Persona. I hated Boy With Love. I think that song is terrible. I didn't really enjoy Yame, who I love Dionysus, but honestly, that album was kind of a low point for me. And it does feel weird having a bunch of solo songs here. It's like I said, it's not a bad thing, but it does feel a little awkward just having every single person have a solo album or solo song on the album.
So it's kind of disjointed then, you'd say?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think the first 5 songs are a bad thing, but I don't think it was necessary for a solo song for each individual member.
Well, aside from Boy With Love, then, if you had to point to another song that maybe was like, why is this here? Or,
Yeah,
didn't like it.
Yamevu, and it's not my style.
So that whole section, basically.
Besides Dionysus. Dionysus is amazing.
Yeah, that was my favorite Persona as well. I'm looking at stuff like I was saying, like 0 O'Clock was alright, but like get to like Inner Child or Friends, and I just kind of tune out at a certain point because stuff that I like kind of already came and went, and then they're kind of going into stuff I feel is a little bit safer or just kind of more generic poppy. Like the way you brought me back into like liking kind of like stuff like this, like K-pop and stuff, was kind of the allure that it was kind of like the continuation of like the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and that kind of thing.
Mm.
And it's kind of the same with them for me, where you look at like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys and they have whole albums, but you only remember like 5 songs maybe, and then the rest of the album is like filled with kind of just like crappy love songs or just whatever fucking
It's
lyrics somebody wrote for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like filler in anime or filler in a TV show of some kind. They had the beat. They had the beat, and so they're like, shit, we'll put it on. It's definitely not going to be as profitable as Black Swan, but we gotta hit the 20 album mark.
Yeah, 20 tracks. This is going to go over your head, right? But we did a group called LSD once that Sia was a part of, and they did the same thing where their last track on their album was a remix of a song that was already on their album, and Sia, is on that remix, and so that's a weird connection between those 2 episodes. But at that point, it's like, why is this even here? Like, I know it was kind of like a bonus track, but that's just taking up like more space than maybe it needs to.
Yeah, K-pop groups do that occasionally. Well, they'll even release like instrumental versions just to fill up the track list. Which, I mean, instrumental versions, people want that, but
right.
It's just weird when I'm listening. Like I click a album and I shuffle it, and the first thing that comes up is the instrumental. Like, I don't want to listen to this. Like, I'm just gonna skip it.
Right. It's like, I don't really need a version of On where Sia is there for a second. I just give me the original,
Or if the Nicki Minaj one, which one was that? That was Idol. That was Idol, where Nicki Minaj was featured, where they had the original Idol, and then they had Idol featuring Nicki Minaj. And my boyfriend Ryan, he loves Nicki Minaj, and he was just like, why is there a completely separate song where Nicki Minaj is there for like two lines?
Right. Yeah, it's super weird. Like, I think it works sometimes when they integrate like other artists. Like, I think Halsey is good with Boy with Love. I think she's fine in that song. And I don't know if you heard like the alternate version of Make It Right at all, but the artist Lauv is on there, and his voice kind of fits with the kind of register that they go for. So it's in English, but it doesn't sound super jarring or anything.
Mm.
I can appreciate that. It's still kind of that question of how much of this is kind of forced upon the record label or Western record labels to kind of make this magic happen. We got to put the artists together so we can sell albums and have a huge success. But
I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I just think it's a little annoying.
It's annoying, and they have to do it a certain way so it's not completely obvious or annoying. Like a lot of the bombs being written by Troye Sivan and Ali X and everything, that song super works. Like that's totally fine. Yeah, you don't need Sia randomly there. You don't need Nicki Minaj randomly there unless the song is like built around them being there, which it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any lowlights or highlights you want to talk about?
Me? Well, I didn't listen to the album enough to really. This is one of my. I listened to it a few times, but nothing liked albums for me, so I don't. I can't really.
It's one of your Blender
care
albums.
too much.
Blender album then?
The what?
Blender album?
Yeah, Blender. It's the Blender album.
Any highlights at all? Anything?
Well, as I said, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, the intro to that really caught me off guard, and I really enjoyed that. I didn't hate anything on the album, but I didn't really enjoy anything on the album. Like, if that makes sense. Like it was pop music. Like it just was there.
Fair enough. I found myself missing Home. I like the song Home quite a bit. I think I talked about Persona, the EP, being like a perfect ramp up for me of like songs I like more than the last. So like Microcosmos was better than Boy with Love, Home is better than Make It Right, and Dionysus is of course the best one. And taking those two songs, Microcosmos and Home, out of this, I'm a little sad, but it's whatever. I still think Dionysus is the best part of that first chunk. Beyond that, the songs I would go back to most probably like Louder Than Bombs, Ugh, Interlude Shadow, maybe Filter. I don't know, maybe Filter. Then stuff like I was talking about, stuff like Inner Child or 0 O'Clock just has no impression on me. Like it's kind of a blunder, I guess, but it's only because there's so much to listen to. I need like a lot of time to really process everything I'm listening to and really kind of grasp and make an opinion about it. And that's that's kind of the risk you run sometimes doing a show like this, where it's like some of these albums really take a lot of time and need your attention, and you can have 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, however long, and sometimes it's just not enough. And it's not necessarily your fault. It's just that the music is complex and interesting. So
yeah,
this is kind of my report on where I am at this moment. Yeah. So Trix, this is our second foray into K-pop, right? How are you feeling now about it?
I'm still kind of on the fence. About it. I'm not like as vehemently, however the fuck you pronounce that word, against it as I was before. I guess that's basically all I gotta say. It was enjoyable, but like I wouldn't listen to it again.
Like, how do you feel about K-pop in general right now? Are you just as in love with it as you usually are? Are you in like a high point, low point? What are you feeling?
I'm definitely higher than I was like 2 to 3 years ago. Like,
And that has nothing
like
to do with the music.
2016. Well, in 2016, I just didn't like care enough about K-pop to like actually. So at that point, there was kind of a turning age for K-pop, and that was kind of when BTS was getting super popular. And I just really didn't have the energy or care um to look into the new groups. So I joined with in the what's called the second generation of K-pop, which is like, I don't know, 2009 to like 2014. That's my era of K-pop, and that's where I kind of grew up with. And ever since then, it's been the third era of K-pop. And I haven't cared enough about um, the newer groups. However, I've been changing that a lot, and I've been listening to a lot of groups that I previously didn't want to listen to before, and I've gone out of my way to actually listen to more of them. I didn't care about Icon, and I tried listening to a bunch of their songs, and I loved them. There's so many songs from Icon right now that I love. Um, I just started discovering another group called Cherry Bullet, which is a female group, which I usually don't care too much about. Them and G Idol, I really love. Which, if you don't know G Idol, they did a bunch of songs with um, League of Legends to promote a bunch of League of Legends things, and I've really been enjoying them. And I'm really actually enjoying K-pop now, because I back in 2016 I was just like, okay, these are the groups that I know. I'm just gonna wait until they release a new album, and then I'm gonna listen to it, and I'm just not gonna go any further than that.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'm at a point where I guess I would listen to more, but I don't really know where to go. Um, when I originally approached you about doing this, we had talked about doing Monster X, and you were basically like, I don't really like Monster X.
And that kind of made me realize how much,
The West is kind of just pushing kind of the groups they think have the best chance of success without it being truly representative of the quality. So, in your estimation, Zach, if someone who liked what they listened to with Persona and Seven and some of the older stuff, what is their next step?
Do you mean specifically for you trying to find more K-pop groups that you like?
Yeah.
So don't take what I say about Monsta X too literally, because obviously I'm not going to like every single K-pop group. If you are a fan of, I don't know, rap, you don't like every single rapper. You may like or you might like one song from every rapper, but you're not a fan for every single rapper. You could, you love a bunch of rap, but you don't, I don't know, Juice World, or you don't like Eminem, or anyone like that. And that's not a bad thing. I still guarantee, even if you don't like that, or even if you don't like them, you probably still have a song from Eminem that you like. You probably still have songs from Juice World. I don't like Monsta X that much, and I still have, like, I don't know, 10 songs from them that I still enjoy. So the good thing about K-pop is it is so versatile. K-pop groups, they hit every single note. They will hit jazz to rock to pop to anything like that, because they will try to hit every single genre of music. And I truly believe that every single person will enjoy one K-pop group, as long as they don't have a pre-stigma to it, and they're just like, oh, I don't want to listen to K-pop. It's K-pop. I don't want to. But there is definitely a K-pop group out there for somebody, and it just is a matter of just finding which one it is.
That's fair. That's fair.
Fair, very, very fair.
All right. I think that's pretty good. That's pretty much it. Trixie, any final words you want to say?
Not really. I feel like we covered everything. I know I've been kind of quiet this episode.
That's fine. We had a lot of good information and a lot of good context that I think was necessary to really accurately cover something. Like it's all genres of music, it's whatever, and we can go into this without knowing anything. We've done that before, but I think with K-pop being as popular as it is right now, and with the whole fandoms being what they are, I think it's important to understand a bit more maybe about this than we do certain other things. And it's fun to learn, and I appreciate Zach coming on to do this.
Yes, thanks for being our first guest.
Yeah, no problem. If you have any more questions, I'd definitely be willing to answer them. If BTS drops a new album in, I don't know, like this summer, I'm down to talk about it again.
I'm down having you on, sure. Do you have any final words you want to say?
Not necessarily. It's just kind of, if you don't actually like K-pop, just try and don't think about the stigma too much, because I know that the K-pop fan base is not the best, and I know that K-pop music can be very repetitive. But like I said, there is definitely a K-pop group out there for every single genre of music, and it's just a matter of finding which one that you resonate with the most.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I keep saying that. I don't know why. I sound like fucking NPR or something. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think what you're saying is good, and I like people saying good things on this podcast. So thank you for saying good things.
Mm-hmm.
Final note, for me, I'm interested in learning more. Like I said, I am curious to keep going down this road, and I probably will on my own time. I might bring more back to the table here, but we will see. To kind of do something we've done on and off on this show, I'm going to talk about the one song I think people should listen to out of anything we've talked about tonight. And I'm not going to go for something from Persona because the obvious answer is Dionysus. But people who just want to listen to one song from what we're talking about, I think Louder Than Bombs is the song to check out. The one with Saban Alex writing on it. It's interesting. It is very different from a lot of this album. I think it's just a huge standout. Zach, do you have any one single song you'd suggest people check out from this?
I will definitely say that Louder Than Bombs is the best song on the list. So if you're looking for quality, definitely go for that. But if you're looking for an example for what BTS actually is, I'd probably go with On if you're actually just you want to try it out. Definitely listen to On and watch the dance practice for it, because you'll definitely understand what I mean by the synchronicity of everything that just goes on in that performance.
I mean, if you have anything you think is a highlight as well, you're free to chime in as well. I don't know if you will, but please. I guess not. All right, Trix?
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm here. Nothing for me.
Okay, that's fine. So this has been Dissonant Waves. This has been a little bit of a K-pop spectacular, a little bit of a break from what we were previously discussing doing. We will still be doing the albums we talked about doing next week, which I think is like
week
Ali
after,
X.
I thought, because Riddle's out of here.
He's doing some stuff for the next couple weeks, so we decided to do a little bit something different. But yeah, the Ali X, Beach Bunny, and Damn Impala episode will still be coming, but that's a little bit down the line. So thank you so much, Zach, for coming on. You're welcome back whenever we get a chance to.
If you ever want to talk about the Eminem album, I'm also that's like the one English artist I actually listen to.
Fair enough. Music to be murdered by.
His what's his name? Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
You two can talk about that.
I haven't listened to it. I just know that the Alfred Hitchcock album.
Maybe Zach, sometime he can subject you to the worst of American music. We'll let you hear the new Green Day album. Talk about how terrible it is.
Wait, Green Day is still active?
Yeah, their new album came out this year. The father of all
Should be.
motherfuckers.
I thought Green Day was just like a 90s band and that they were on Beat Saber just because like the owner liked Green Day so much.
They were in Beat Saber to promote the new album. Yeah, that's another topic for another day. That's Dissonant Waves. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We'll catch you another time. Good night.
Oh shit! I forgot to kill Craig. Ah, fuck.
Craig off. Turn Craig off. Craig. Ah.